Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
Here we are, Believe You Me, we're back. What up, baby boy?
That is not going to become the official term of the podcast, Lewis, regardless of how much you try. Doggy and baby boy. In fact, I'm going to ban them from the show. Yeah, that's it. They're now banned.
You can't change the way that I talk. You're a fucking Nazi. Holy shit. Listen to him, everyone. Listen to him. Just changing who I am at my core. Nobody wants that.
Well, don't call me a Nazi just because I am a little overlit today. So I do look particularly more white than usual. As we know, last week, Ralph got us these fantastic lights, but there's no dimmer on them. So I need to figure a way of dimming the light a little bit because I've been tanning pretty hard recently. But according to these lights, I look like Adolf Hitler. So,
Yeah, you're very, you also have your haircut. You've never not had a haircut of a Nazi. Like back in the day, it was a skinhead. And now you have this fucking alt-right fucking you look like you should be marching somewhere for the white resistance. You really do. But it looks nice. Lewis, it's very nice.
Take your hat off. Show everybody what we're dealing with here. You know, I'm talking about too much light. Take your hat off and blind everybody for a second. But I warn you, don't look directly at it. It's kind of like a solar eclipse.
No, okay? I can't.
Don't look directly at Lewis's head when there's lights on him. Okay, because you will be blinded.
I can't take off my hat because I haven't shaved my head in like 5 days. So now it grows in patches. Have you ever seen RoboCop? You remember in the original RoboCop?
Of course.
When he took off his helmet?
The helmet off at the end.
That's what my head looks like when I let my hair grow in. It's really bad.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good. All right, well, we'll swiftly move on. Sorry we weren't doing the show yesterday. I had to drive all over the place, so my apologies, but we're here on Tuesday. A lot of great fights at the weekend. I think, hopefully, we have Mike Perry calling in a little while. I spoke to him yesterday. He agreed to do it yesterday, and then I had to drive up to LA. I booked an acting role in South Africa, so I had to go get a last-minute visa. And if I didn't go tomorrow, I wouldn't have got it because Wednesday is a national holiday in South Africa, and Thursday I fly to Ottawa to commentate the fight. So yesterday I had to go up there, so we had to cancel the show at the last minute. But how was your weekend, Lewis?
It was good. Just hung out with the boy. He was out of town for a week. He went to go visit his family for Easter with his mom in the Midwest. So he came back and we hung out, went to go see the Avengers.
How was it?
It was pretty good. You know, it's a fucking movie. You know.
Everybody's going crazy for it like it's the best movie ever. Everyone's crying and spending tons of money to be there on opening night. Is it worthy of the hype?
Sort of. I mean, no, it's not the best of those movies. I thought Infinity War was a better movie, and there are way better movies, but it gives you what you want to get, which is, you know, crazy action, the CGI and the special effects. At this point, it's gotten so good. I mean, I was a kid. When did Jurassic Park come out? 94?
93.
93.
I'll say 93.
Let's see. Fact check that. But I remember when that came out, I was a kid, and that was such a big deal. Like the special effects, it was like, holy fucking shit, these are dinosaurs. 93, you're right, Bisping.
Listen, don't take Jurassic Park lightly around me, okay? There's one thing that's dear to my heart, it's fake dinosaurs, okay? So I know what year that fucking movie came out, Lewis.
But do you remember how cool it looked? It was like magic on the screen, and now where it's gone, it's like, I mean, you really do feel like you're there. It's really cool. You know, you could suspend disbelief. The Hulk is just talking like, you know, he's got this big fucking head, and you let yourself go to it, and you sort of watch it like it's a real thing happening, and it's fun. So yeah, my son also fucking loves it. He's 6.
But hold on. Do you not think sometimes with movies like that, they overdo the CGI and the special effects a little bit too much?
I think, yeah, because they didn't nail the technology a few years ago. So it used to be really shitty. Remember when The Rock was in the original Mummy, like The Mummy Returns or whatever, and how shitty the CGI was? And it was a cartoon and it was laughable. But now what I'm saying, it's gotten so good that you can be just taken completely out of the theater and you're just there. So I thought it was great for kids, especially. I have a soft spot for kids, and there was a black guy right next to me in the theater. He was like 45 years old, by himself, thuggy dude, do-rag, fucking chains on. I live in Harlem. We went uptown, straight up like hard-looking dude from the streets. And he was sitting there by himself next to me and my son, just his mouth agape, like, no, Iron Man, no. Oh, when all the there was like a moment where it was like a feministy moment where all the chick superheroes come together. He started cheering. I was like, oh my God, stop it. Please, sir.
God, he should be ashamed of himself. Call yourself a thug. Well, you're talking about special effects there and how amazing it is and how great it is. And I'm sorry to some of our listeners, but I am going to talk about this. Game of Thrones on Sunday night, the Battle of Winterfell, the battle that we've waited 8 years for, okay? That the whole show revolved around. Winter is coming. Ooh, is everybody going to die? Will we survive? How's it going to go? How's it going to play out? What's going to happen? I'm assuming you watched it, right, Lewis?
Oh, of course. Please. You think I'm going to miss? Yeah. You think I'm going to miss Game of Thrones? I'll miss the fights all day. I'm not missing Game of Thrones.
Shame. But did you not think that you couldn't see what the hell was going on for the first half of the show? It was so dark. I've waited so long for that scene, and to make it so like moody and atmospheric, they had the battle at night, which of course has its challenges because it's very dark. You can't see. But in movie land, in TV world, you can cheat it a little bit and maybe make it a little brighter. It was so dark, and then you had the snow and you had the wind and all that stuff. I couldn't make out what was going on. Is it just me, or did you have the same issue? And I know it wasn't just me, before you fucking be contrary to what I'm saying, because a lot of people on Twitter do feel the same way. Go ahead.
Whoa. First of all, you're very combative this morning. I want to point this out to everyone. He came on, He came on the show. He was hot out the gate. He's like, come on, Lewis, let's get going. Come on, gotta go. I'm like, yes, I'm here, baby boy. I'm ready to rock. I'm always here.
Okay, as Lewis says, pull the curtain back. We sit here at the time we're supposed to start, and you bullshit for 15, 20 minutes, and then you go for a third pee, maybe another coffee. Maybe Lewis wants another latte. One of his sycophants, one of his yes men, one of his highly abused employees is sent trotting off to get him whatever he fancies that day, and there he is, speaking the devil, signaling for coffee.
You reminded me that I wanted coffee.
Yeah. But I've got to pick up my passport at 10 p.m. in LA. Okay, so I've got to be there at 10 o'clock to pick up that passport, baby boy. So I'm like, let's just start the show. Let's go. But back to the question: did you find Game of Thrones annoying?
I did, and it was here. I'll tell you something kind of funny about the beginning of the show. So me and Kim, it's our thing. We watch it every week now, Sunday nights. Game of Thrones.
Whoa. Yeah, that's totally unique to you and your girlfriend.
Just me. It's our idea. I had an idea. I'm very romantic.
No other couple in the world says, hey, Sunday night, that's our night. It's Game of Thrones. We've been waiting 2 years. We love this. Let's get the kids to bed. Let's get a bottle of wine. Even though we don't drink, let's just have one on the side for aesthetic purposes. Okay? You're the only couple in the world that feels that way, Lewis.
So she makes tacos. We got nachos.
That's a Mexican thing.
Oh, yeah, it is. We're Puerto Rican.
I know.
Yeah, rice and beans. We were, we were playing
some enchiladas.
Listening to some mariachi music. It was very, very nice. Very nice. Moody. Those enchilada lights hanging from the ceilings. It's really nice.
Maybe a piñata.
Why not? I do love candy. So she sets it up. I put my son to bed like 8:45. I'm like, you know what? Press pause at 9. I'm going to take a shower. Let's set up the food, set up a couple drinks. We'll probably start around 9:20 or whatever. But we're going to just pause it. That's all you got to do is pause it. So I go shower. I come out. She's setting up. Everything's taking longer. Now it's like 9:30, 9:35. But I'm like, fuck it, whatever. Pause. So we sit down. We're ready to go. Press play. And you're right. It opens up. And the first 10 minutes of the show is just dramatic music and just the camera moving through. They're getting ready for the battle. Just everyone setting up. And after literally 10 minutes of us watching, the first bit of dialogue, the guy goes, "Siéntate." And we're like, what? And we look down, and there's a little HBO Latino logo in the corner. This bitch
so you've been recording the Latin version.
I don't speak Spanish.
Oh, well, hold on, but that's your fault for just like abandoning your heritage. That should have been the perfect channel for you and your other immigrant to watch. I'm an immigrant myself as well, but that's the channel you should have been watching. True to your roots, watching it, paying homage to your ancestors that fought and died on the battlefield for your freedom. But no, you're ashamed of it. You're ashamed of your heritage and your ancestry.
Shame on me. I wanted.
So what did you do?
So I missed the first 35 minutes of the show. I haven't even watched it yet.
No, because on HBO you can watch it anytime. It's called On Demand.
I haven't had a chance to go back. It's only been a day. I'm a busy man. Mondays, are you crazy? You know how crazy my Mondays are?
No, on that day when you realized you'd missed half an hour of it, you could have just gone out of it and right back in. Because
you're on the West Coast, so you guys are a little different. In New York, when it's premiering, you can't just go into On Demand. It has to completely be off first. So I couldn't. I had to watch. I had to opt to turn it off and not watch anything right there, and then wait until it was available on demand like an hour or two later and stay up really late, or watch the second half first and then go back and watch the first half after the fact, which I still have to do.
I'm surprised you're still alive, Lewis. I don't know how you've coped with such a tragedy in your life.
It sucks. It was awful.
I'll be honest. I'm making light of it, but if that was me, I would have shouted at my wife a little. For crying out loud, Rebecca.
Crazy.
2 years. In fact, no, 8 years. The whole entire show has been themed around this battle happening one day. We come to it and we miss half of it. Well, guess what? It was all dark. You couldn't make anything out. So you didn't miss too much.
Yeah. I mean, apparently I missed some major things, but we did keep it with the Latino theme. We had some tacos. We watched it in Spanish. It was a good night.
Nice.
I thought it was fun. But here's, can I tell the other problem with it? After seeing Endgame is like, it's a very big movie, and it's the battle scene. Mr. Bisping, you should watch it. Can I tell you one thing about the battle scene? You can say nothing else. Great lighting. Great lighting on that battle scene. You can
really see what's happening. That's the good thing I find about blockbuster Hollywood movies. If somebody turns a fucking light on in the studio and you can see what's happening, call me old-fashioned, call me stupid, but I prefer it. I prefer when I can see what is happening. And that's just me. I'm an oddball. I'm unusual, but I like to see. And this is coming from an almost blind man.
And I got to be honest with you, Game of Thrones, pick it up. How does the Believe You Me podcast have better lighting than you? Look, you can see every fucking crevasse on Mr. Bisping's face. This is fucking incredible. This is unbelievable.
Which isn't too good because yesterday I had like a mini surgery thing and I had to take some medication. So my face is all puffy and swollen today. So, but yeah, my lighting, I officially have better lighting than HBO. And that's the level of production that we bring to Believe You Me. It's just, it is what it is. We're committed.
I will say, I don't want to jinx us, but this sounds pretty good too. I feel like this whole the setup's gotten a little better.
Well, and we're still just operating off Ethernet. Okay, when we spoke to Spectrum, Ralph, Lewis's business partner, for those that don't know, he spoke to our Wi-Fi provider. They were supposed to send a new modem that would give us way better speeds. It hasn't arrived yet. I asked my wife to call them last week. Of course, she called them yesterday, but that's a whole nother story that I'll go into in private with her. She will be receiving some kind of formal punishment. But yeah, no, so far so good. Don't jinx it. So what have we got going on? So I've sent Mike Harrington, Mike Platinum Perry's number. He went on Instagram yesterday and talked a little bit of shit about me.
No.
He's like, my Bisping, man, you're supposed to be calling, bro. But you ain't call me, man. I think that's how he talks, something like that. But regardless, did you see his fight at the weekend? I mean, that was amazing. I mean, that fight against him and Cowboy Oliveira, you got to love Mike Perry, man. Just absolute action all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Perry, win or lose, I mean, he's that dude. And he's such a character, the face tattoos and the fucking, when you make a decision to get a face tattoo in life, you're giving yourself to that life. Like he's saying, there's it's a ballsy thing. No matter what you want to say about it, you're giving yourself to that life. You're saying, dude, I'm not going down many other paths in life. This is going to be it. And it's a ballsy thing.
I must admit, like we interviewed him on the Wayne show, and we interviewed him on the post-fight show, and I was looking at him because it says something over his eyebrow. I couldn't make it out, but listen, the guy's giving up his free time to join our show. He had an amazing fight at the weekend, and all you can talk about is his facial tattoo. I hope you're man enough to ask him about that when he joins us
You're goddamn right about. You think I'm afraid of Mike Perry? Do you think I'm? Is he there? Hold on. Just make sure he's not there.
Are we getting him on, Harrington?
Yeah. Is he ready? Is he ready to go with that? No, we didn't get anything back yet. Is he not confirmed? Is that what you're saying? Harrington is just, he's shaking his head yes and no at the same time. It's psychotic behavior. Harrington is literally doing this when I'm asking him a question.
I'm not Indian, sir. No, I texted him like 10 minutes ago. I haven't heard back from him yet. As soon as I hear back from him, I'll let you guys know.
All right, just keep trying. Just keep trying. All right. So anyway, then, hopefully Mike Perry joins us. I'm sure he will. But, last week I had a bit of a crystal ball moment. We looked at the main event. We looked at the stats. We looked at the history. We looked at the form. We looked at the records. And there was no way that Jacare Souza was going to lose to Jack Hermansson. I mean, you went with him. You bet all your money off through betdsi.com on Jacare. You put a heavy bet down. I advised you. I said, no, against all odds. I know these things. I have a feeling that Hermansson was going to pull it off. Call it a sixth sense. Call it intuition. Call it just being really smart. Let's go with that. Call it being really smart. But I was correct, Lewis.
You were correct. I do believe that. I mean, you pulled that out of your ass. I don't think you even believed it. As you were saying it, you were falling apart. All the confidence that you had in that pick. Go back and watch it. I wish we had a replay ability right now. I want to just, you had absolutely no confidence. I didn't believe you even believed it. And finally, you got lucky. So I'll give you that one. But I also said it best.
Thank you, Harrington. You were almost right. If I didn't hear that soundbite, I was like, what is going on? It's definitely not a Shannon day.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, do you want to give the bad news to the fans?
Should we break the news?
Break the news.
Lewis has been such a terrible boss that Shannon's quit the show. Is that correct?
I mean, technically,
that's how I understood it. That's how I understood it.
I mean, that's if you want to really simplify it into a couple quick sentences, fine. Okay, that's fine. No, Shannon, she's still at the network. I'm still her boss. She's still on the Real Ass podcast. Okay, she's still doing other shows here. We are a very high demand show that both of us move around a lot. We have a lot going on. The lack of consistency for Shannon, who has a lot of shows that she produces, makes her a little bit crazy. So we had to move her onto some other shows, and we moved Brian into the position now. Go to the Shannon cam. We're still calling it the Shannon cam.
Go to the Shannon cam.
Go to the Shannon cam. There. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
It's not good.
Yeah. Well, the Brian cam just doesn't work.
Listen, whilst I'll say that I preferred the Shannon cam before, Brian, as long as you can deliver, as long as you can do the job, then I can deal with this. I can live with this. I will accept it. Okay.
Yeah, Shannon was way hotter. Like that's the thing. Like people aren't going to be.
No, I'm talking about
You've never noticed
quality,
when I was here before, Mike.
What'd you say, Brian?
No, I kind of have. Games need to be stepped up.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'll work
That's all
on
I'm
it.
saying, Brian. Listen, no, you're good. So far, so good. You're pushing the right buttons. Continue to push the right buttons. And
Do we have a?
Mine.
Yes,
did you
sir.
guys make? You made a goodbye for Shannon, right? Do you want to? Do you want to play that really quick? Make sure I can see it in here too, because I couldn't see anything where you were showing it on the screen before.
Is this in an official BYM? We're making it very official, so we're kind of closing the door that Shannon can never come back. I mean,
No, she's done.
Really.
Yeah,
I just liked the way she pushed the buttons. She always got it right. Whereas Harrington or anyone else, everything was a pig's ear. I was always having to say, no, I can't see anything. I can see it, but I can't hear it. With Shannon, seamless every time.
You know what it is though, because every show sort of has their own different production and different setup. So I think we just have to be patient, and it's almost like tying their shoes. It's the first time you tie your shoes, Mr. Bisping, you cross, you make a dog ear, you make another dog ear, you flip it around.
Doggy.
It's a whole doggy. You got to make a doggy ear. And then you pull it through. You have to think about every little step. That's what Brian's doing right now. He's like a 4-year-old trying to learn how to tie his shoes. And I'm watching. It's cute.
It's fair. It's fair.
Brian, can we see the tribute to Shannon?
Here it is,
Can I see it on the screen too?
Yeah.
There she is.
Good job. All right. This is failing.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road.
Why is it failing?
Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where
Beautiful
to
tribute.
go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why.
It's just,
All right, time.
It's not
All right, we're
a
good.
question, but a lesson
time.
learned in time.
Time.
we got
That was awful. That was fucking awful. That was the worst. If I was Shannon, I'd be offended. That was fucking goddamn terrible. There was no sound. It was a dreary, wet, horrible, depressing, whiny song choice, okay? And that's all it is. If people wanted to hear shit music, they don't need to listen to Believe You Me. They can go to YouTube. They can go to iTunes. Or they can go to fucking the best of the shittest songs on fucking VH1, and I guarantee you'll hear that one. Right? How was that a tribute?
There's no words. They just did the song with no words at all.
No words, nothing. Like, that is terrible. That is what my son, my 8-year-old, would call an epic fail. Okay, we'll just leave that there. Shannon, I salute you. I miss you already. Jesus Christ. They can't even get the playing of the tribute right. After I went on a tangent about, I hope they can get this correct, they can't even press play.
Shannon, get on the Shannon cam for a second, Shannon. Come here. What happened? Shannon, can we talk to us for a minute? Maybe we can convince you to come back because this got weird. This got weird. I gotta be honest with you. I didn't even miss you. The show was going fine, but until we asked them to do something, as soon as we asked them to do anything, then it falls apart.
Yes, Mike.
Shannon, please don't do this to me. Literally. See, you don't realize this, Lewis, because you're sat in your swanky apartment bullying everybody, telling everybody to get you coffee and kiss your feet and fan you, and maybe turn the light down and bring me a coffee, bring me a drink. I'd like a snack. I'm here in LA by myself, isolated, no team, right? And I can tell when shit doesn't go right because it doesn't go right because this is all I see. The only time it's ever right is when Shannon is at the helm. You are not at the helm. It's been 10 minutes into the show. We had one thing to do, and that was play your touching tribute, Shannon, and they couldn't even get that right. What do we have to do to make you stay? How much more does Gas Digital have to pay you?
Mike, maybe not playing my tribute right was their way to say fuck you to me as I'm leaving the show.
Wow. Maybe it was. Maybe that was a little bit of a dig.
Maybe they did it on purpose, and they nailed it.
All right. So what's going on? What is the real cause, Shannon? Because I'm sensing something. I'm sensing vibes. Bad vibes.
No, what Lewis said before is exactly the truth. It's just that because of the scheduling of the show. What? No.
Fuck you, Shannon. You're fired. No. Listen, don't walk. I'm going to push you off the cliff.
No, honestly, because of the scheduling of the show, I have like between 8 and 10 other shows every week, and it became too much.
I have between 8 and 10 other shows I have to produce. I'm so big time. Thanks for helping me get where I was, Michael. But now I'm successful, and the thing is taking off all over the place. I'm walking away. You forgot about the little people, Shannon. You forgot about the little people.
You know what, Mike? It was you.
Oh, shit.
Can we get... what's up, Brian? Let's get Brian back on because Shannon's terrible. No, seriously, Shannon, what is your plans? We are sad to see you go.
Yeah, he said, what are your plans, Shannon?
What are my plans?
Yeah.
No plans. I'm still here. I'm with Gas Digital, just on my other
She's
shows.
literally sitting at another desk right now working on another show. It really is you. She's not kidding about this.
Yeah, I'm telling the truth. I'm still here. I love it here. I love this show. It just, the timing just didn't work out.
Can't help but be a little bit offended, Shannon, if I'm honest.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm still here to fill in if you need me.
No. It's okay. It's okay. You're very busy.
You're going to love shows. Brian, and you're going to be happy to have him and be rid of me.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah, this interview's over, Shannon. Good luck with your other show. Take care.
Can I also be honest with you? Here's the truth, because I know it seems as much, but I really am being honest about that as well. Brian is a substantially better producer than Shannon. Like, substantially better. If something goes wrong, Shannon doesn't know how to fix anything. Shannon knows how to fix directly what's in front of her. Like, if the Lego pieces are right there, she could fit them together. But if those pieces aren't ready to fit together, she's not going to be the person to get creative on it. So I'm making eye contact with her while I say this.
And hopefully Brian is that guy. If he's half as good as what you say, then, you know, this show is going to get only better because honestly, Shannon was kind of dead wood. She was holding us down. She was holding us back. You know, it was sloppy. That's all I'm saying. But are you sure it's not because of this? Because I'm looking at a story here in the sun.co.uk and it says Coca Groper. The Coca-Cola billionaire was ordered $8.5 million for stroking a female employee's leg while comforting her after her mom's death. Okay, so is this a clear case of Shannon just moving on, or Is she being, sexually abused at Gas Digital Studios?
She's
being sexually harassed.
She's 100% being sexually harassed. We do it on camera. We have hours and hours and hours of video of it. So any moment that she wants to take down this entire operation, it's really up to Shannon. The whole company's in her hands.
And she's been filming the whole thing. She has like tons of video evidence. She couldn't deny it.
Coca-Cola groper. What happened here? Coca-Cola billionaire, 8.5 million euro.
I read the story. One of the guy that runs the company that bottles all the Coca-Cola, some woman that worked for him for a long time. Apparently, her mum died, and the owner of the company was comforting her and stroked her leg, which I can see it in my mind. People do that sometimes. They stroke the leg and they're like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, sweet. Oh my God, it's so bad. It's a tough time, whatever."
Yeah.
Probably they sound a little more authentic than what I sounded. And she apparently has sued him for sexual harassment and has been awarded 8.5 million euros, which he is refusing to pay because he's a billionaire. And he's like, "Well, I'll fight you the whole way." But I don't know. How do you feel about this? I mean, if he was sexually harassing her, then fair play, but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like this woman's out of her goddamn mind.
I mean, look, the fact is the court definitely, found in her favor, which is weird. I don't know. I need a split screen, guys. It can't, you guys got to, thank you. Just leave it. I don't know what's going on in the booth, but just stop changing things. Like, just leave it there so we could see each other and talk to each other. Got it? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So look, where there's smoke, there's fire. We say this all the time. So I'm not always going. I don't always just side with guys. I know, like we like to.
Me neither. But $8.5 million for a guy stroking someone's leg because her mum had died. If that's what it came down to, great. She's also saying that she had, and I sound like such a sexist pig here, like I'm on the guy's side. I'm really not. I'm not a sexual predator. I've never sexually harassed anybody in my life, and anybody that does that is a piece of shit. But she's also claiming that she has lifelong PTSD because he stroked her leg. That sounds like a little bit of a push, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Here's the problem, right? They take advantage of that fact. So if there was some dude on the street that just did that, they're not going to get anything like that, and that's where it's sort of fucked up. So shouldn't the damages shouldn't it be a one size fits all solution? If it's let's say it's a crime or whatever it is, or no matter what way you want to look at it, shouldn't you say, okay, well, the punishment should be this? Like, if you're going to sue somebody, you should sue somebody for this. The damages are the damages. You can't just say because this guy's a billionaire that now your damages are worth $9 million, whereas if somebody wasn't, it would be worth, it would be valueless. You couldn't get away with suing somebody else for that. Yeah,
well, I think, and if any legal eagles, types, lawyers, if I get this wrong, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure, having had a little bit of experience in this field, and I'm not talking about sexual harassment, I'm talking about being sued. I think they call it punitive damages. So, for example, and Harrington, I'm not picking on you. If this lady sued Harrington, she probably would have got about $1, okay? Because they work it on how much you have.
Just some receipts and a ball of lint.
Well, they look at your net worth and all the rest of it, because obviously, if you are a billionaire and they fine you $1,000, that's not going to have any impact, is it? You know what I mean? That guy hasn't been punished. So they look at your net worth and then they time it by a certain number of times. I forget the exact equation of what they do, but they do base it on how much money you're worth, and then they times it up to 10 or 20 times or whatever it is. So therefore, it is a punishment for the person. So which again creates another interesting thing, because if the guy wasn't a rich man, a very, very wealthy dude, would she have sued him? Then the answer is probably no, because there'd be nothing to get. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very, very weird time, because people that are successful, they are targets. Now I'm not belittling what allegedly happened to this woman, and if she was made to suffer, then of course my condolences to her.
I just don't buy it. It's just
it's always a little suspicious. It's a super rich guy.
Yeah, of course. And, the story is, it's not even like there's more of a story. She's saying that he stroked her leg when he was consoling her. It's like in the worst case scenario, maybe he is being like, a little bit creepy, right? The worst case scenario. But let's get real.
Well,
It's just a
No,
finger.
you're missing quite a big chunk of it as well, because it does go down the line to say in the thing that she accused him of terminating her employment when she would not have sex with him.
Oh, well, I didn't hear that part. You never read that part.
Well, yeah. Do I have to read everything for you, Lewis? I sent you the link. What you do is you click on the link and then you read it. You know, your eyes go left and right and you move down.
I was in a meeting, to make sure that we can keep this whole thing afloat, and I didn't get it until we were right about to be on air, and then you freaked out on me to let's start the show. The second I walked in. What, Harrington? Harrington's had his finger up for 10 minutes. What?
Oh my God.
What?
She also claims that he brought in a male stripper to perform for one of the other executives.
That was going to be my next comment, Harrington, okay? I'm getting there. Do not take the candy out of my piñata, okay?
Do not take the candy out of my piñata.
She claimed that, so he also brought a male stripper into the workplace to celebrate one of the executives' birthdays. Now, okay, that's a little old-fashioned. It's a little old school, and this guy's an older guy. This is the type of stuff you would see back in the day. Maybe all right, maybe he's a little old school, but again, suing him because he brought a male stripper in.
How fragile are you? This is my point. If you're this fragile of a woman where this whole thing, like, it's destroyed you so much that you can't sleep, you're a weak person. Fine, go get your $9 million. To be honest with you, he's a fucking billionaire. It doesn't even matter. It's a drop in the bucket for him. The reality is, I don't even care about him that much. Sure, more power to you. I sort of respect her hustle because she recognized the opportunity to just become a fucking millionaire over the situation. And I don't have a ton of... I don't want to say, I don't really just feel that bad when a multi-billionaire gets sued. He's been sued for more than that. I'm sure he lost more than that. I'm sure he has stock that sways and he loses millions of dollars every year and gains millions of dollars every year. It's just, I have other problems in life, so I can't even feel bad for him either. I don't feel bad for either of them. She wins and he's a winner in life.
Don't feel bad for her. She just got $8.5 million.
Whoa, she's a fucking victim.
Yeah, she's got PTSD for the rest of her life, bro, okay? He put his hand on her leg and he stroked it up and down when her mother died and he was trying to console her, okay? She's a victim. She deserves $8.5 million. But he is refusing to pay it. Harrington, you never jumped in with that bit, did you? He is refusing to pay the money and he will fight it the whole way. You know why? Because he's a billionaire and he can do so. And on principle, he's not paying it. I'd do the same thing. So
just show up for court once in a while.
Yeah, it's like, let's send my legal team over there to fuck with everybody. And guess what? Everybody's cracking under the pressure of the legal costs. And he's sitting on top of his massive pile of cash, just laughing at everybody going, ha, ha, ha. All right, guys, I want to tell you about People's Choice Beef Jerky.
Love them.
LA's original small batch beef jerky. It's a family business from California that's been making quality jerky for over 85 years. Now, unlike mass-produced beef jerky, People's Choice beef jerky is marinated, sliced, and cooked by hand. That's right. That's the big thing here. It's cooked by hand. These guys have been making it for over 85 years. And I'm telling you right now, you can taste the difference. They sent us a massive package of it, and everyone in our house absolutely loved it. Beef jerky is always a good go-to snack for myself. I'm on a diet right now. It's low carb. In fact, no carb, I think. High in protein and very, very good for you. But of all the beef jerky, People's Choice is by far my favorite. As I say, you can really, really taste the difference, Lewis.
I love it. And I'm a huge beef jerky fan. Anytime I'm out on the road, I'll stop at a gas station, and sometimes it's a flip of the coin. You can only sometimes get the mass-produced, chewy, plasticky beef jerky. That's not what this is. This tastes like real meat. You really, really taste the difference, okay? And they give you a pretty great deal here. Listeners of this show, go stock up on beef jerky. The end of the world is probably coming, okay? So now's your time. It is
coming, and the other beef jerky does taste like plastic. You go, I'm not going to name the brand, but you go to that gas station. The packaging is red and black. You know the one I'm talking about. You put your hand in, maybe the odd piece tastes good, but a lot of it, you're like, you're chewing it like crazy. It's plastic. It's garbage.
You know,
it doesn't taste good.
You accidentally pick up the little piece of plastic, the little white thing that keeps it fresh. You put it in your mouth. Like,
yes.
But is that jerky or is that a piece of... Oh, it's actually a piece of plastic. I couldn't have even told the difference.
you can't even distinguish the difference between actual jerky and actual plastic. It's
crazy.
You know, shame on them anyway.
I chew on the bag. I eat the bag sometimes. I'm like, what is this? Is this the jerky right here?
A little bit of salt and pepper. I'm not going to lie. A bag can be good at times. You know, you just got to savor it and season it the right way. But People's Choice beef jerky, you ain't eating the packet. You ain't putting salt and pepper on it. You ain't seasoning that baby boy. No. People's Choice beef jerky. Trust me, you got to try this. So if you want to try it, go to the website, go to a computer and go to peopleschoicebeefjerky.com. peopleschoicebeefjerky.com and use the promo code BYM20. You're going to get 20% off anything you order, but the promo code is only active for 1 month. So run out there, stock up on beef jerky. The People's Choice, peopleschoicebeefjerky.com and use the promo code BYM20. All right, guys, where were we?
We got Mike Perry right now, Mr. Bisping.
Oh, let's go. Bring him in.
Let's get Mike Perry on the line here in just a second. I'll take a moment to say, guys, go subscribe on iTunes, leave us a 5-star ranking and a positive review, and go to our YouTube page, growing strong right now. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, get all the notifications when the brand new episodes go live on YouTube. And of course, if you guys love the show, every episode we've ever done is available on demand at your fingertips. GasDigitalNetwork.com. Use the promo code BYM. Get pre-release on all the episodes, ad-free and uncensored. And we do have the one and only Platinum Mike Perry on the line.
What's up, Mike?
What's up?
Hey, listen, first of all, sorry about yesterday, Mike. As I told you, I had to drive up to LA, so we had to reschedule the show. So thanks for joining us today, bud.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. I hope everything worked out. How you guys doing this morning?
Yeah, we're good, man. We're good. So listen, before we get into your fight at the weekend and all the rest of it, we were talking about you joining us on the show, and I want to see if Lewis is man enough, okay? Because he was critical of your facial tattoo, Mike.
Whoa, that's not what I said. I was not critical at all, you piece of shit. What I said was, if you get a face tattoo, it was a compliment. I said, if you get a face tattoo, you are deciding to live that life. There's not many options. You are committing yourself to a certain life, and you are a fighter through and through. When you got that first needle in your face, you said, dude, I'm a fucking fighter, and nothing's going to ever change that after that. So Bisping said that he was sitting right next to you. He didn't know what it said, so I just wanted to ask you about getting the face tattoo. Number one, what does it say? And then number two, when you decided to do that, were you sort of giving yourself to saying, fuck it, dude, I can never get a day job now, this is it?
Well, I could always get laser removal done, and, that's an option. So, but yes, I was deciding to live the fighter life, and I dedicated myself to it. And I think, I don't know, I had always just wanted a little face tat. And the only thing I'm wondering about is if I can get some movie parts with this thing, or I guess they could just put makeup on it to cover it. And, I get a scene kicking Michael Bisping's ass in a movie or something. I don't know.
Yeah, hey, 100%, buddy. I would love that. And yeah, they just cover it up, because I have a tattoo on my arm, and when I do stuff, they spend, I don't know, it takes about an hour. They just put some stuff on, they cover it up. So that's all good. Listen, Mike, amazing fight at the weekend, man. How are you feeling right now? Because it was kind of a back and forth war. You both, probably picked up some injuries. But again, that was one of the most exciting fights I've seen in a long time. So massive congratulations from all of us. How are you feeling?
Oh, that's great, man. I'm so happy to hear that. I feel good. I love hearing that people love the fight. I think that's the most important thing. Well, right next to coming home the winner. And, we both got a bonus, so he's got to feel like somewhat of a, I don't know, if you lose, right? But he can't feel too bad. I know I've said before, you can be wheeled through the airport as a winner or as a loser. And I threw some kicks and hurt my legs a little bit more, and I pushed myself a little harder to take home the dub over the weekend. And I, it's funny. My coach was trying to make a joke, and he said, it's funny that all the guys that we had fight on the card that we knew, he said, man, it seemed like the guy who trained the least did the best. And I said, that's kind of messed up. I felt like I trained hard, and just because the times that you guys don't see me doesn't mean I wasn't training. So, but it was I was definitely out of shape, and they called for the fight on 4 weeks' notice, and I kicked it into high gear, and I think that just kept my mind in a sharp place. If I was training for 3 months, I don't know, how capable I would have been able to keep my mind strong. I knew I had to, I guess with the 4 weeks, I knew I had to put my head in the right place and just take it. And plus the opponent helped too. So definitely next time the style matchup that they put me up against, it all makes a difference. He came to fight as well as I did, which is beneficial to me in my fighting style. I'm a tough fighter. So if you come to fight me, that's what I want. So it's these guys who run and hide in there that I'm looking to come home with dubs on next. And I think I will. I think my head's in the right place. It's matured a lot, and I think I'm capable of beating anyone on any given night as long as I drill properly and I stay focused. But that focus is a toss-up. It's like if you're zoomed in on your priorities, it's just like something that happens naturally. You could turn a corner and be thinking about, there's my girl's butt, and you just be not focused like you thought you were. And I don't know, it's a toss-up. Maybe you know what I'm talking about, Mike.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do 100%. Many, many times I've been there, and you do see things out there. And like Perillo, my boxing coach, always says the main thing is just to go in there and keep the focus for 15 minutes. Lewis, I see you waiting patiently like an eager beaver to say something. Go ahead.
Well, no. I mean, you'd mentioned your girlfriend. We see those videos of you training with your chick, and congratulations. I believe you guys, did you guys just get married?
Yeah.
Congrats, dude. Number one, how's married life? And number two, talk about how she's helped you, because we watch your videos with you and your chick training on the show a few times at this point. They're great. Your chick is probably tougher than me or anybody else in the studio right now, with the exception of Mr. Bisping. But yeah, talk to me a little bit about that. It seems like you guys have a really strong relationship.
Yeah, it's a helpful thing. It's a blessing for sure. I taught her everything she knows, and I taught her how to teach me, and then she takes her look from the outside at what she pays attention, and she sees what works for me and what doesn't, and she knows I love honesty and when it comes to mitts and things like that, the goal of being a fighter is I think for most fighters is to grow their martial arts and to become their own thing and be known as the type of fighter that they are and they want to be. And with her, I tell her what combinations I'm looking for, and we put it together, and we'll do the same one a few times. And, with other coaches, I can't really do that because they might be able to, get some things over on me when we're training. So it's like they'll try to explain why this might be a different option or whatever, and I still need those guys too. So it's a balance, and I had a good balance last Saturday, but she's priceless, definitely invaluable. As she can't be replaced, man. She earns her spot in that corner with me all week long during the weight cut. She kept my head on. She kept me focused, and she understands that it's not a lot of love I want that week, and I feel bad for her because she wants love, and I'm like, don't touch me, and I might touch her leg with my fingertip. That's like all the love she'll get from me all week long because I'm not.
Well, be
in a
careful,
loving
Mike.
mood.
Be careful, Mike, because we were just actually talking about a story. Somebody stroked somebody's leg and got sued $8.5 million. It's funny that you mentioned that. But I do hear what you're saying, because I used to say to my wife, she wants to come to all the fights. And she'd get a little pissed off sometimes because I'd say I didn't want her there. Not because I don't love her or anything like that, but because it was a distraction and I need to be, selfish and think about me right now, not thinking about looking after her and the kids. But, it seems like everything's going well for you now. I mean, that was an amazing fight, as I said. You definitely got to be a fan favorite now. I think everybody knows that when you fight, you're going to bring it. It's going to deliver. It's going to be action. I mean, of course, you got to be thinking about a title shot. Every fighter wants to achieve that. What do you make of the welterweight division right now, and how long do you think it'll take you to get a shot if you carry on winning fights like that?
I'll tell you what, man. Two more of those, and I'll be fighting for two more of those, and I could have an interim title, and then I'll be fighting for the title in the third one from now. So if I get on a 3-fight win streak with the management team I got, with the way I push myself, with the way I go out there and entertain and fight the way I fight, you know what I mean? It ain't no bullshit. I'll get what I deserve. And the way my mind seems right now is like I can feel it. Like, oh, now is the time. It's now or never. I'm 27 years old, and it's not necessarily now or never, right? But it's like now is a good time. I started something good here. Let's get the streak going, and I can do that if I stay on this focused mindset that I'm on and really pay attention to detail, like what my opponents are going to want to do, where they're strong at. And it's simple, really, in the sport of MMA. The game is the clinch. It's up against the cage. It's if you land on the ground on your back, a guy wants to take your back, or a guy wants to get you down and get on top of you. It's who can get in those positions first and then waste time there and or land some solid ground and pound shots or strikes up in the clinch. I seem to be one of the nastiest men in the clinch. And I look forward to anybody who wants to lean up against me on that cage. I'm getting better and better at stopping the takedowns. I'm getting better at getting the takedowns. I mean, just explosive power that I have. It makes me feel like I got what it takes to be champion of the world. And I'm looking to do that, man. I feel it now.
And you called out in your post fight, was Darren Till, and I believe it was Colby Covington. Colby obviously right there for a title shot, being the last interim champion. What was the reason for calling out both of those guys?
Well, I guess a couple of reasons I think the Till fight's a good fight. I think he's called me out in the ring before, so kind of return that favor. And in a time of need of him, I think him going to work and getting on the mic and saying good things about community and his life and how he can benefit society is a good thing for him. And, I need to heal up, though. That's true. My leg is beat up from battering him with it, and I don't know when I'll be, running sprints again. Barely walking right now. So that is on the back of my head right now because I'm talking about, I want to fight, but I'm like, my leg doesn't want me to fight. God wants me to sit down right now, and I'm going to get my leg checked out tomorrow, get some scans done, x-rays, things like that. So, but, the Darren Till, he's just in the top, and I need a shot in the top spot, and, he's not the enemy. It's out of respect, and I think he'll take the fight too. For many reasons, right? But then Colby is very personal, and I think I know that being attached to the fight like that personally can make you fight stupid, but I do my best when I'm angry, I think, and aggressive. So that's how I was in this fight. I was very I was very switched on at all times. I was pumping my hands and parrying and pump faking and faking at him. And then I kind of held my ground because he was so long. I just couldn't. People were like, why didn't you hit him in the body? He wouldn't let me hit him in the body. I tried to hit that man in the body. He was so long and bouncy. There was no touching him until he came in and overreached, and I capitalized. But, it sucks. I want to talk shit and get back in there and fight about it, but my legs won't allow me to do that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel you, buddy. After so many years in the octagon, my body feels exactly the same way. So we got to move on, Mike. Just want to say thanks for joining us. We're all massive fans of A, the entertainment that you bring out of the cage, and B, in the cage. You're always amazing to watch, as I said. I'd love to see you versus Darren Till. I think that's a fight that makes a lot of sense. If not for more than anything of that little confusion that you had when you said let's go spa, and he thought you meant let's go to the spa for a massage. I thought that whole thing was fucking great. That was hilarious. But listen, once again, Mike, thanks for joining us, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you guys for having me.
And we'll see you back in there soon, buddy.
All right, bro. Good talk to you, Bisbee. Peace.
Later, man.
There you go. Platinum Mike Perry. Very articulate. Little less.
Yeah, I was gonna
crazy and wild than you'd think, but he seems very measured in the way that he speaks, which is rare for younger fighters that haven't been in the spotlight for a crazy amount of time, but intelligent guy.
Yeah, no, definitely. You can tell he's got a very measured approach to it, I said very entertaining out of the cage, because he is. I love his antics, and in the cage, of course, that fight was fucking bonkers. All his fights are. They're great. A lot of fun to watch. So, yeah, thanks for joining us, Mike, because I'm sure his body is hurting, man, because he joined us on the post-fight show, and I was looking at him, and he had a few bumps and bruises here along the way, as is expected after a 3-round war. Thanks for joining us once again.
Mike, let's take a moment and talk about our newest sponsor, Wix, which I absolutely love. This company, they make building a website really easy. We got a brand new website built by Harrington, BelieveYouMePod.com, which is great. You guys can grab all the latest episodes there. You can get links to the latest sponsors there. It's really, really cool. Everything you need is there on BelieveYouMePod.com, so you don't have to go to all these different places, whether you're Apple or you're on Google or whatever it is. But they make it really easy, dude. If Harrington can build a website, then literally anybody can build a website. You can start from scratch or choose from over 500 stunning templates. They have the world's most innovative drag and drop website builder, so you can easily customize, add text, images, videos, and whatever you want. Mr. Bisping, this is the future, baby boy.
No, I know, because Harrington can't even push a button at the right time for me and you to be able to speak. But yet, through Wix and their ADI, which is their artificial design intelligence, even Pond Life like Mike Harrington can design and build a website. That's lofty talk. What do you do for a living? I make websites. That can be you. That can be you at some little shindig this evening. And they say, what do you do for a living? I design websites. Yeah, that's right. I'm a really smart guy. They don't know that you just go into Wix and using artificial design intelligence and not your own intelligence, but they don't need to know that. And if you want an example, just go to BelieveYouMePod.com. As Lewis said, they have the episodes. We have merchandise available that I suggest you buy. That's how easy it is. Harrington did that website. It looks great. It promotes the show, and it's easy to do. So if you have a business or content that you're looking to promote, you need a professional-looking website. That's why I recommend going to Wix. Start building your website and publish it for free. All right, so here's how you do it. Go to BelieveYouMePod.com. Go to our website, because you should be doing that anyway, but never mind that. Go to BelieveYouMePod.com, and at the bottom, there is a link. Wix will give you 10% off any premium plan. So once more, join the over 150 million people who have built a website using Wix. Go to BelieveYouMePod.com. Go to the link at the bottom. Click on that link. Build a website. Get 10% off. My God, it's too good of a deal. Let's move on quickly. Where were we? Main event. Listen, I was correct. I did predict it. You could say I've got a crystal ball, or you could just say I'm really smart. End of the day, Jack Hermansson went out there and looked sensational. In that first round, he caught him with 4 little punches, and they didn't even look that hard. And Jacare kind of fell down. He almost face planted. And then Hermansson grabbed him and went for a guillotine. And I know why he did that, because everyone was saying, oh, Jacare is the threat on the floor. And Hermansson's got good jiu-jitsu. That's one of the reasons I picked him to win. And he wanted to prove that he could choke him out, because that would have just like put the icing on the cake. But I reckon if he didn't try and choke him out and just carried on like trying to use ground and pound or punches to the head, he would have finished that fight in the first round.
Here's what happens, Mike. Once in a while, Harrington has no testicles, right? So whatever happened there, you said something that was
insightful, intelligent,
apparently
on the
wrong,
money, risky, entertaining.
Whenever he's going to disagree with you, that's what Harrington does. He goes, and then he starts typing at me so I can disagree with you, and he gives me the counterpoint. But he's a pussy because he won't just he won't chime in if he's disagreeing with you.
Listen, I don't care where it's coming from, whether it comes from Lewis or Mr. No Bullshit producer over there. Okay,
Wow.
Tell me what bullshit is about to leave your mouth, because I don't know if you were there, Harrington. I don't know if you interviewed Jack Hermansson publicly on TV like I did, but you seem to have a differing opinion. Please explain.
Well, if you go back and watch Jack Hermansson's fights, go back to the Talis Leites fight, he tried to pull off that exact same choke, had it almost locked in perfectly before winning.
Excuse me. Yes, and he used the exact same choke to choke out David Branch in his last fight. Yes.
So
that doesn't make you correct. It means it still doesn't change the fact that I'm saying, had he continued to try and ground and pound, as opposed to making a point out of it and putting the icing on the cake with a submission. And I guess what, Harrington? And guess what? I asked Jack Hermansson that exact question on ESPN. And do you know what he said?
What did he say,
Yes.
Mike?
He said, "Fuck Harrington."
He said, I was trying to make a point of it. I was trying to beat him at his own game. And you're probably right, Mike. You're probably right. You know, maybe I should have just gone for the punches to the head. But I did want to choke him out because I'm from Sweden or Norway or some shit like this. So, Harrington, pipe down. Okay? Pipe
Yes,
down.
sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Bisping. Sorry.
Lewis, anything to say? Or, any original thought that Harrington hasn't typed to you? Anything you want to say?
Nothing really original. Yeah, it was great. It was great. You know, good for Jack Hermansson. I hadn't really heard of him before this fight. I mean, I heard of him, but I couldn't have pointed him out in a lineup of UFC fighters. But yeah, it was a solid performance, solid fight. He's in a great position now. Nobody really saw Jacare losing that fight. I guess. Was he that big of it? Or Harrington did and Bisping did. I got it. Everyone but me in the studio did, obviously, apparently. Everyone, hindsight's 2020, because everyone just brags when they're right, but then when they're wrong, they just shut the fuck up and move on. So yeah, you guys all make a big deal when you're right. I get it.
It's like when people, they win big at a casino or online poker. You know, they're like, oh, dude, last night, killed it. But they don't tell you about the times when they lose money. A good buddy of mine was always coming up because he had a bit of a poker thing and he was playing online poker every night till like 5 a.m. And then some days he'd come up and be like, oh man, I won $1,000 last night, £1,000, you know, but what about all the other times that
you haven't mentioned this in 17 days? That's weird.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you're
but that's sort of
1,000 down.
That's sort of like social media in general. So everyone posts their best, greatest moments. You know, if I just go down your Instagram, Mr. Bisping, I mean, holy shit, you're a world traveler. You're in movies. You're at the UFC. Your whole life seems like all you do is awesome, amazing things. It's incredible.
Excuse me. I was just in wherever the fuck I was, Florida at the weekend, covering the UFC for ESPN. I'm flying off to South Africa to film a TV show. That's just reality, Lewis. That is not me putting on. I mean, did you see yesterday? I had a drill bit drilled into my hip. If you look at my story, you'll see that I went through a very traumatic surgery, outpatient surgery yesterday. I had bone marrow and stem cell treatment. Okay, but I'm still here. You know, so I put the rough with the smooth up there, Lewis.
That's not the rough. That's still a cool story of you looking like you're being rebuilt. Come on, that's fucking dope. It's a great story. They're building you into a bigger, stronger machine. No. What about all the times you're picking your balls on the couch? Where are those pictures? What about the times
I'm picking my balls right now? Okay.
Oh my God! Stop!
I'm in my underpants.
It really is.
That's the beauty of the early morning. It's not on Instagram, but it's still happening.
But that's exactly the point. Anybody that even forget the rough stuff. Some people that's part of a great story. You know, you're going through some trials and tribulations. People like throwing that stuff out there as well. But because of social media, it seems like everyone has more interesting lives than they really do. Not you, Mr. Bisping. You actually lead, the life of a movie star, former UFC middleweight champion, world traveler.
No,
but the rest of us.
See, now you're being condescending. I don't live the life of a movie star. I live the life of a very normal guy with a wife and 3 kids. That's what I do. That is my life. That is my motivation. Okay. So don't try and put some there's a little bit of shade in there with your condescension. There really was. You're like, oh yeah, you do that. You're just great. But typically you're right. That is what people do. They put forward this false life, on Instagram, on social media. And yet, it's kind of sad in some ways. You know what I mean? That, there's some of these people that portray, I know some people, they're always posting pictures with Rolls Royce Phantoms and stuff like that. And you can't drive one of these cars. You're never going to have one of them. And why does it even matter to you so much that you're going to put that forward on Instagram that you really are, balling so much? You are so.
Or where they take a picture with somebody else's car, it's not even their car. Exactly. Listen to me. I'm going to tell this, and I don't want to disparage any of our fans, okay? Because you might have done this. But I'm telling you, once in a while, we got to tell you how to live your lives, all right? And Mr. Bisping, obviously very successful in a lot of ways. I've done okay for myself as well. We're going to give you a little bit of life advice right now. If you are a man, do not ask another man to take a picture with his car. It is the gayest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. It's not your car. The goal should be to work to get there. It shouldn't be to get the picture. It is just the cringiest thing I've ever seen. You'll see it in Times Square. There'll be a nice car and a guy stand next to it. Yo, take a picture of me. You're like, dude, get a life. Do something, Lewis, anything else. What?
I feel like you're insulting somebody that was a fan of mine once, because we were in Starbucks one day and somebody not only wanted a picture, they wanted me to sign their car. Okay. And he was a very level-headed, switched on, intelligent, savvy human being, okay? No. And I feel like you're belittling that man right there.
I'm not talking about that. That's worse, actually. That's substantially worse. Not only did that guy ask Michael Bisping to sign his 1955 Ford fucking Firebird or whatever the fuck it was a classic car, restored, all the interiors the same. He's like, sign it right on the dashboard. This motherfucker was with his 16-year-old daughter. It was so uncomfortable. This guy had his daughter just watched her dad bend the knee to another man. You need to be a rock star to your children. It doesn't matter. My son, you know what my son thinks I could do to Michael Bisping physically? Do you have any idea? My son thinks that I could wipe the floor with any human being in the world because he's my son and he should look at me like I'm a fucking superhero, okay? He'll find out one day. But it was one of the cringiest things I ever saw for him to do that in front of his daughter. He's like, dude, have a little self-awareness. You're the guy in your daughter's mind who can, fucking... you're the world. You're supposed to be the biggest, baddest man in the world. And in front of your kid, you're going to sort of I don't know, maybe I'm being crazy, but I feel like that's really, I don't know. I feel like it's bad.
I think James wouldn't even believe that, though, if you did present that reality. James would be like, Dad, we all know Mr. Bisping can kick your ass. It's okay. And that's fine, because in this modern day and age, that is not the measure of a man. It doesn't matter who can win in some Neanderthal, some barbaric activity like fist fighting. Okay. Yeah. That isn't important to me. Okay. The ability to win a fight. Since I retired, it's no longer an issue to me. It's not a thing. I don't look at life like this. I don't look at it through that lens. I don't walk around looking at them as potential challenges. Okay? I'm done with that life.
Well, this is also why you should put your kid in martial arts. It's why my 6-year-old is now taking jiu-jitsu. It's because I know we're fucking around here, but this is actually a good point. You have the confidence of a man who can probably kick almost any dude's ass in a room. Unless you're at a UFC event where there's other fucking fighters there. Like, in any room you walk into, you have the confidence of like, oh, I don't really need to prove anything here.
If there's other UFC fighters in the room, it still stays the same, okay? The level of confidence still remains just as brash, okay?
It's a psychological thing where you have like, you know, most guys don't know. You're walking around in a room full of other dudes, and it is very barbaric and it's very animalistic inside, and you don't know. There's a weird protectiveness. If you don't know martial arts, you don't really know how to fight, you just sort of have this thing. You go back to being a little kid sometimes, and you have I don't know if you ever did this, Bisping, but when I was a kid, there was times where I was being picked on by kids in my neighborhood, and I would run or I wouldn't fight, and I think back and I'm like, fuck, I wish I could go back in time and just throw a punch, because I know for a fact that kid, whatever it was, he didn't know how to really fight. He was just intimidating me. And you have those times where you back down in life, and as a man, it wears on you throughout time, and that's what not knowing martial arts. It's
just let it go, Lewis.
Of course.
Don't harbor these ill feelings. Don't let some little inconsequential interaction with a kid that, you know, who knows. Maybe he's dead right now. Maybe
I hope
he
he
died
is.
in
I hope he fucking
car crash.
I hope he did.
And you're still harboring these ill thoughts. Thank you, Rebecca. You're still harboring these ill thoughts, Lewis. It's not healthy.
That's
you
right.
know, and in this modern day and age, you know, where you're going to get sued for touching a woman's leg, you know, you shouldn't be thinking about fantasizing about having fist fights. No wonder you're trying to live out this fantasy of being a mixed martial arts fighter, competing with a rash guard on. My God, you got issues, bro. You need some better help.
That was pathetic.
Okay. Let's talk about this. Greg Hardy at the weekend. What do you think?
Yeah, vicious first round knockout. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's it.
I tell you what I liked.
What'd you like?
Listen, the guy looked terrible. Okay, his opponent, Dmitry Smolyakov. He looked terrible. He did. And, you know, listen, the UFC, I think they realized that Greg Hardy has all the makings to be a star, regardless of his controversial background. He's got a head start. People from the sporting world know who he is. A lot of the fan base that watch ESPN will know who he is for maybe his football, or for maybe some of the negative headlines that no doubt dominated the ESPN Sports Center pages when it was happening. So they know who he is. He has a natural ability to fight. He has that, that nasty streak in him. He has a lot of power. He's a big athlete. He's strong. And they gave him a fight there that he should have won. You know, but I tell you what I did like was that after the fact, Dana White did an interview with Megan Olivier, and he was like, wow. He said, that dude fucking sucked. He said, Greg Hardy, Greg did what we hoped he would do. We went out there and he beat him in the first round. He said, but we thought that the other guy would at least show up. He said he looked like he didn't want to get hit. He wanted out of there. And Dana actually kind of regretted making that matchup, which I thought as a promoter, and I'm not trying to kiss Dana's ass before anybody starts, I thought that was actually very honest of him to say that. Do you know what I mean? To be critical of the matchup that they chose. Of course, you know, you match guys up as their skill level determines, shall we say. But still, I thought that was really honest of Dana.
Yeah, I mean, but look, you know, this is Hardy's got 5 fights at this point. I mean, you can't, what are you going to do? Yeah, they're supposed to sort of have some of these, you know, tomato cans. The difference between MMA is the UFC is such an elite brand that you're just not seeing many guys that aren't elite level fighters fighting for the UFC. It just doesn't really happen. At this point, the UFC sort of, they hire everyone that's even good. They don't really leave any meat on the bones for even any of the other organizations. The other organizations that get good guys usually are guys that can't get what they want to get paid out of the UFC, and then they move on. So you get a couple killers that are in Bellator and elsewhere in ONE FC. But the reality is the UFC sort of has their finger on the pulse of who's good and who. But you got to give some of these guys some tomato cans once in a while because they got to build up. It's what with the problem with Mickey Gall is Mickey Gall, he beat CM Punk, which was such a high profile fight. Then it just became like he had to start fighting killers. It was all high profile. And you see, if you don't bring these guys along and give them the experience and put in those rounds and those minutes in the cage, it starts to have the adverse effect, and you're going to ruin the potential of Greg Hardy. He could be a major star, but don't put him into major crazy top 5 fights when he's only 4 or 5 fights into his career.
Well, on the point of what you just said, and I do agree, because in this day and age, it is different to how it used to be in the UFC. Now the roster's so big. There's over 500-600 people. I don't know what the number is, but there's a lot of people on the roster. So now they can afford to do that. Now they have shows nearly every weekend. They need main events. They need co-main events. They need number one title eliminator fights. But they also have guys on the undercard and on the prelim that, are forging their way in the UFC. And if they do well enough and they match up against similar people, they rise to the top, and then eventually they get into the rankings and they get to the top of the rankings. Then we start talking title shots. Back in the day, when the roster was a lot smaller, when there was half as many shows or a quarter of many shows, it was very different. In fact, I remember being with the former matchmaker, Joe Silver, in Ireland one night, and we were sitting at the bar after a show and we were having a chat, and he was telling me, he said, this the way it is in the UFC, and this, I'm going back to 2007 now. He's like, you sign with the UFC and there you go. Good luck. You're fighting Chuck Liddell. You know what I mean? Because that's how it was.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he says. Good luck, you're fighting Chuck Liddell or whoever it is. Because that's what it was. You were in the UFC and the best fight, the best at all times. But now it is different, because there is so many fighters on the roster. They can afford to have this building process where they funnel, the cream rises to the top, the best guys up at the top and down at the bottom, guys trying to make a name for themselves, trying to get some kind of recognition and get better opponents. Greg Hardy, he's only 4 fights, I think, now into his career. Which is, he got a lot of shit, obviously, with, the troubles that he had in the media for what he did with his ex-girlfriend. And then his first fight for the UFC on ESPN, you need his opponent in the head when he was grounded, and that was illegal, and he got disqualified, right? But I was talking about this on the post-fight show. What a lot of people don't recognize is that when you first start fighting mixed martial arts or boxing or whatever it is, when you first start, it's so new to you that, you have a hard time controlling your emotions, and the adrenaline and all that type of stuff gets the better of you. I remember in my early fights, I'd go out there and I'd fight, and I'd just be in a blaze of adrenaline and anger and just whatever it was. And I'd finish my opponent, but I had no idea what actually happened in the ring. I was just fighting on instinct and adrenaline and a little bit of anger. I was like, all right, let's fucking go. Let's do this. And then you finished it. You're like, I don't even know what I did until I watched it back. And I think a lot of fighters go through that phase, and then the more experience you get, you kind of calm down and you're thinking about it and you're way more conscious of what you're doing and what's going on. You got to remember, I had 10 fights before I even spoke to the UFC, 10 professional fights, and I was a champion of some organizations, Cage Warriors, Cage Rage, FX3, British Super Heavyweight Kickboxing Champion. It's no big deal. It is what it is. But the point I'm making is that Greg Hardy, I'm going in. I was building up in these small events, the crowd getting a little bit bigger bit by bit. Greg Hardy's there, 3 fights, and he's walking into the Brooklyn Barclays Center in front of 20,000 people, co-main event on fucking ESPN. It's crazy. Right? So it can be a little, and I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but you can understand that maybe he got a little bit carried away in the moment with the adrenaline and all the rest of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For sure. That emotion, that adrenaline, that the amount of eyes that are on you, you need to. I can compare it to comedy, right? I do stand up comedy. I've done Last Comic Standing in front of however many million people watch that show, and then I do shows in New York City with 10 people in the crowd. And you need to do those shows with 10 people a lot before you're prepared to go in front of millions of people or even 500 people at a theater. You build yourself up and you get more and more prepared. It's a psychological mindset, especially, and you talk about it all the time in fighting. If you're not mentally there and you're emotional, those little, especially when guys are really closely matched, those little differences psychologically can make a very, very big difference in a fight. And you're going to make mistakes. Think about all the mistakes you made in the beginning of your career, the beginning fights. If you can go back and be like, that's a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I wasn't experienced enough there. I didn't know what to do there. Greg Hart is doing that with every eye on him. Every mistake right now is under a microscope. Everything he says, everything he does wrong, and it's a ton of pressure. And I think people are they don't realize it because it's easy to sit here from your couch and go, oh, well, this guy stinks or whatever it is. You don't realize the level of pressure. On top of all of it, you're fighting heavyweight fucking UFC fighters who can kill you with their feet, knees, and hands. They are killers. So on top of all the pressure of the, just winning and being on TV and being the eyes on you, then you are fighting the biggest, toughest man in the world. It's a scary thing. So it's interesting for you to point that out.
And on top of that, and again, it really looks like I'm fanboying out on Greg Hardy because I'm not. I had some positive interactions with him again at the weekend. We did a picture together and he was cool, man. He was. Listen, a lot of people, by the way, last week on last week's show, we were speaking about this and I had some messages saying, fuck you, you support Greg Hardy, you're making excuses for him. I'm done with the show. I'm like, no, I wasn't making any excuses. Any man that hits a woman is a piece of shit. And that's it. And there's no fucking varying off that. Simple as that. If you touch a woman, you punch her in the face or anything like that, you're a piece of shit in my book. Even if she fucking hits you first. Do you know the amount of women that have hit me and I've not done anything back?
I've never dated a woman that hasn't hit me.
Yeah.
Ever.
Me neither. Even Rebecca, as the saint that she is, I've pushed her far enough. I've done it. But it was basically my fault. I hit myself. I forced her to do it because I'm that much of a dick. She would never even raise her voice at anybody.
By the way,
I've
you
got
literally
her to the point where she has hit me.
You sound like a battered woman. You're like, I did it to myself. I shouldn't have got her that angry. I don't know. I fell.
Lewis, she can hear you. She's coming. Be quiet. I'm sorry, Rebecca. Love you. I think she's okay. I think she's happy. No, so I'm not making excuses for Greg Hardy because that's how I feel. But I'm just saying, it is what it is, and life moves on. Life moves on.
And I can separate a man. Look, the truth is he whatever it is, whatever happened there, nobody fucking knows the details, right? And I can separate a man from his mistakes. I don't judge. There's a moment in the Avengers movie where Scarlett Johansson says to Hawkeye,
you got my attention.
Yeah, she's a hottie. She says to Hawkeye, she's like, I don't judge a man. I don't judge anyone on their worst mistakes. And it weirdly kind of stuck out to me in such a feministy movie where they're trying to push that angle so many times. To have a woman saying that to a man, it was a weird moment in the movie. It stuck out to me because I saw the movie twice. I saw it once with my friends and once with my son. But it was sort of like, yeah, dude, I don't judge somebody on their worst mistakes because the reality is, as we're talking about people putting out their best lives on social media, we don't know everyone's worst mistakes. And I promise you right now, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. People do fucked up things. People make fucked up mistakes. And he's paid the price to a very large degree. His reputation is very much damaged. But the UFC, who is in the business of, marketing themselves as a company not with a bunch of animals, they've done their due diligence. I sort of trust the fact that the UFC has done their due diligence with this, and I can separate the fact that he's got a little bit of a fucked up past from the fact that he is sort of an exciting prospect in the UFC, and let's sort of judge him moving forward. There is a line. If there's I'm not saying that you can beat a woman then no, I just don't know what happened there. And it seems like there's a lot, at the very least, there's a lot of gray area surrounding that situation. So let's not just completely throw a guy under the bus.
No, for sure.
There's rumors.
And also, and again, it looks like I'm some kind of cheerleader for the guy, and I'm not. But also, he has the extra pressure because everybody's looking for him to fail. Yeah. Because he's now the bad guy, and he was the woman beater, and he was the guy that cheated last time and kneed the guy in the head. So he's walking out there, and everybody wants him to lose. So it's a pretty tough spot for the guy. But we'll leave that there, and we'll have to leave this episode there, Lewis, because I have got to get up to the immigration offices and get my passport. They're closed tomorrow, so they shut at 11 o'clock, and if I don't make it there, I'm screwed.
When do you fly?
But do you know what I fly Thursday morning. But hold on, do you know what your worst mistake is? You say judge people on their worst mistake. You know what your worst mistake is?
What is it?
You've allowed Shannon to not produce the show anymore.
Don't judge me.
Our viewers, no, I am judging you on your worst mistake. The viewers like it. She had a fan base, okay? She's gone. She did a good job,
She'll still pop in.
Do you own... Are you part owner of Gas Digital Studios? Do other employees get to dictate which shows they work on? I mean, what kind of boss are you?
I mean,
are you a man or a mouse? You're letting people walk all over you. You need to stamp your authority. You need people to respect you, Lewis. You're supposed to be a boss, a leader. You know, all those people there, they're looking at you as a leader, Lewis, and you're not handing out leadership. You're failing. You're failing your employees. You're failing the show. You're failing me.
I have to say, Mr. Bisping, you are finally right. I can finally agree with you. I am failing here, and I should not have let Shannon go. We should make her sit here begrudgingly. By the way, we don't need her to produce the show. All we got to do is have Brian produce the show correctly, and then Shannon can just chime in and show her face on camera once in a while. And everyone will be happy.
Oh, God.
She's sitting right there. Shannon, come say goodbye. We're wrapping up. Come say goodbye. Say look. She'll say goodbye right now.
Shannon,
they don't care.
Come say something to the loyal believers that you're just abandoning.
Look at her. She's fixing her hair. She knows what she's doing. She's literally getting on camera and making herself up.
She has built a following. She has built a fan base, a connection with our loyal believers, and you're just going to walk away like that.
No, I love them. I'm still here supplementarily. I'm still here.
Subliminally.
Supplementarily.
Supplementally. Okay, no, that makes sense.
Supplement.
Also, supplementary. We will supplement the show with a little Shannon here and there, a sprinkle, if you will.
There you go.
Shannon, say goodbye to everyone.
Hi, everyone. Still love you guys.
All right, we're done.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
Whatever.
Are you bringing your stuff to South Africa? We'll do one.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I'm not flying to South Africa this week. We'll talk off the air in just a moment. Okay. Guys, thanks for listening. Sorry it was a short one. Thank you to Mike Perry. Shannon, you're dead to me. Well done. Brian, Harrington, Lewis. Yeah, work on your leadership skills. We'll be back with another episode later this week. Thanks, guys.